Hello everyone! In this tutorial we're going to take a little look at Wade's templating system. Now the main purpose of templates is they don't really interact with your scene very much. They are invisible, so you can't see them. They do not have any on-update, on-mouse down functions, or I should say they do, but they are not called. Only objects that clone the template will use those functions. So first of all, I'm just going to drag this box sprite into our scene, and I'm going to set its position to 0, 0, and I'm going to call it box template. Now the word template in the name doesn't actually make it a template object, it's just to keep the naming consistent. So I'm just going to save and run our scene. So we've got a box, it doesn't really do anything. Now if this was a platformer game, you may be able to jump up to that box and you might expect get a star. So we're going to kind of just fake that a little bit. We're just going to go to functions. We're going to go to on mouse down. And we are going to set the image file. So we can do this, .get sprite, because there is only one of them. So we don't need to pass in any number or names there. And we can do set image file, and I'm going to set it to boxused.png. That's basically a grayscale version, of this sprite. So if I click run now, and we click on our object, it turns grey. So great, we've got one box that this works for. Well, what if you want another one? We could press the duplicate button up here, and now we've got two boxes. But the problem with that, of course, is if we change the code in one, we have to manually change it in the other, which is very, very annoying. So this is where our templates come in. I'm just going to select this object, go to properties, and I'm going to hit the template flag. Now we can still see it in the editor. It still exists. But when we run our program, it's invisible because, like I said, the sprites are not rendered on a templated object. So normally, I'll just untemplate this and run again. Right, normally you'd want to drag this off screen anyway so it doesn't potentially interfere with anything else. Get overlapping objects still affects templates, and Wade.getSceneObject, but we will use that one to our advantage. So I'm just going to go ahead and select template object. Now we are going to go into app.js, and we are going to add a callback onto our load scene function. So this just means once load scene is finished, so once the scene is loaded, we can execute some code. And the code we want to execute is we're going to manually clone this down here. Now you could do this in an event handler, so for example, a better example actually would be an explosion. You might set up a really cool looking explosion as a scene object in the editor, then want to use it every time your character sets off a bomb. So your bomb explode function would do what we're doing here. It would create a clone of the template object, and it would add it to the scene. So var new object equals Wade.getSceneObject. We need to pass in the name of our template, which is box template. And then we need to do .clone. So that will return a cloned object. This object will not be added to the scene, but unlike the template, it will be visible. And itself, it won't be a template. So we're going to set the position that we want, which is just going to be 0, 0. So it's slap bang in the center, and we can see it nice and clearly. The next thing we need to do is add it to the scene. So Wade.addSceneObject, and we just put new object in there. And remember the comma true because it has to receive events, otherwise this whole thing won't work. So we save our project and we run. So this is our cloned object. If you don't believe me, I'm going to drag our template here, and I'm actually going to deselect it from being a template. So there we go, this is our cloned object. And it works, we click on it, it turns grey, as does the original. Now of course, we don't want the original there, we want that hidden. In our level, we just want to be able to see our actual level. So that's where templates are useful. You put them off screen, you can design them in the editor first, make them look pretty, put them off screen, set them as a template so they shouldn't interfere with the rest of your code, then you clone it, and you can put it anywhere you want. So for complex objects, this is really useful.